Boom gotten what you want out of a guy who can't go in contact in spring practice over the course of a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, Coach Ed's had him. He's been working out and doing everything he can to stay in shape, and his rehab has gone well. So he's doing everything he can. We're asking him to do and get in there. He got to do some of the winter conditioning stuff where he could never be on the ground. He had to be careful because if he fell down, you wanted to really protect that elbow. We had a nice brace on it, but I think he's done a nice job. This summer will be huge for him. He was in the meetings studying. I think he knows it. He's not going to obviously know it as well as the other guys because they got game time and scrimmage time experience. But he'll know it enough to where if we get through the summertime, he should be ready to go that first day. And mentally is where I'm more concerned about. So I've got to make sure that he does a good job this summer.
He said you've changed him. I think he means obviously off the field. He said he thanks you for that. What way have you changed him, do you think, or have you tried to change him?
You know what? I don't think you can change anybody. You can help them. I'm trying to be really consistent. Consistency is really important. I think from Coach Harbaugh, when I was with him at Cincinnati, my first stint, that was one thing I saw him as a coach. He was very consistent in how he treated everybody, and I try to do that in that room. Whether you're a one or you're the fifth back, and I think there's no cutting corners. I've encouraged him that if you're going to be the starter, you got to do things right on and off the field in the classroom, and those are the things that we're stressing here. And I think he's bought into that. So I'm excited about it. I like his personality. I like what he brings to the table. We just got to, now get to the football side when he gets back well.
As a coach, Mark has talked about, he's got to make sure he takes care of all those things off the field. When you see a guy with the talent like Boom has, and you're a coach, and there are maybe some issues, and you're worried about him, how stressful is that as a coach? How many waking hours do you spend worrying about making sure you get that guy squared away so he can meet that potential?
Well, there's a lot of texting, a lot of phone calls, a lot of encouragement, and then when they're not doing right, you got to get after them, and you got to bring them in, and you never want to say the next. I try to handle it on our side of the ball. When it gets to me, it's my position or somebody else, and where it doesn't have to go to Coach Stoops. If it goes to Coach Stoops, there's a serious problem, and so I just let him know. If this keeps continuing to happen, then it goes to Coach Stoops, and that's not going to be a good meeting. And again, it's a team sport, so you got to do what everybody else is doing for us to be successful.
Does that get everybody's attention when you say, hey, you either respond or you're going to go to the big guy's office?
Yeah, and you know what, Coach is, and that's his philosophy. At the end of the day, it's our job to handle it. He's got enough on his plate, so it's our job, and I'm responsible for the offense, and they've got to make sure that they do everything right. And so, you stay in touch with them, communicate. The one thing that I've learned from Coach Stoops is he's really big on communicating with the players. Talking to them, bringing them in, not just to rip their tail. Come in and find out a little bit about them. And Coach Tuberville was really good at that too. After the practice, go in the locker room, hang out, and shoot the breeze with them. And I think you build relationships, and then you build trust. And I think that's a good thing. They don't always want to be ripped, and you get it out on the field a lot. Sometimes you got to put your arm around them and love them and tell them you love them, and that'll go a long way.
Is there a player or two who's had a particularly good spring that has impressed you?
One in my position, Saheem King. I think he's really stepped it up right now, especially academically too. He's responded, and I think he's had a really good spring. The receivers, it was really good to see today. We didn't have a very good practice last Saturday. We came in and they responded on Tuesday and had a really good practice. Came out today with some energy, and so I was really impressed with our offense that way. I was excited to see guys step up. Guys were leading. There was a number of guys that did that, but I think at the receiver position today, I saw Juice take a huge step, which we needed him to do. We challenged him on Tuesday, and he came out today and he looked like the Juice of old. He was making contested catches, and you heard Coach Elliott talk about that. And offense and defensive, you're competing against each other. You want two groups to be out there executing, and then somebody make a play. And so that was really good to see. Taven Richardson, I think, has made some good strides for us at that position. Jeff Bedette, and that's a group that we really wanted to challenge this spring. So I think they're getting better. We're not near where we need to be, but they're going. CJ being just kind of CJ, you know, he's been solid, but you know, he's learning this thing, and as we're using him, he's got a lot to learn too. But you know, I think the quarterbacks have developed. Really like where Drew is right now, and Steven's doing well, and you know, I think where we're at is I'm excited about.
For most fans, Saturday will be the first time they get to see your offense. What should they expect to see?
You know, execution. I don't want to see anything sloppy. You know what? Come out, have fun, play with energy, come off the ball, be physical. When we throw, catch, do all the little things right. You know, it's going to be a very, very condensed game plan. I mean, there's not going to be a lot. There might be some disappointed people, but you know, it's a spring game. You want to get out of there with everybody healthy. You know, you want to score some points. You want to be successful, and you want to come out of there feeling really good about yourself.
Will you play some tempo or no tempo with?
I think we'll be just normal, you know, our normal tempo. We won't. I don't think we'll go anything fast. You know, we might have a couple fastball things for him, but no, I think it'll be regular this week.
What do you like about Garrett's skill set that he brings to the table at that one?
His speed, number one, is speed. That's his advantage. He's got great quickness off the ball, and what he's learning to do this week is we talked to him about playing with great vertical speed on every play. You just can't have vertical speed on passes. It needs to be on runs, and it can't just be on long passes. It's got to be on short passes. If you don't do that against our DBs, they will cover you. So he's really worked on that, and we moved him outside, which was really good for him because now he's learning inside and outside. So for him, that I think is going to be huge. I think it's going to help us too with our depth. You know, we get Dorian back too, and that's going to help us with the depth. But now if we can interchange him a little bit, Timmons being a swing guy too, I think now you've added more depth to your receiving crew.
What will you be looking for from Drew tomorrow? Saturday. Will you be looking more for what he does as far as interacting and plays and that sort, or just flat out execution?
Running the offense and executing, running it, being efficient, making great decisions. That's what I'm looking for.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple. Yes, sir.
How important was it for Saheem to have the spring he did with Boom out? You've got another couple running backs coming in the summer just to make a statement early that he's a guy who can help you always.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he really has been a factor around here, you know. And so I think he built a little bit of confidence with Boom being out. He got more reps, and so he's forced into that situation. And then as he built confidence, he kept getting better. And he's a different back. He's different than JoJo. He's different than Mikel. And you know, he can make you miss in space. He's a good receiver out of the backfield, and he took it to heart with protection. You know, he really kind of dropped pads a couple times because he's a smaller back, and you have to have great technique when you go against those bigger guys. And I think he did that, and so I was really excited about his progress throughout the spring.